Hello there, YouTube, and welcome to Shining Force CD, and to the night at the museum. What does that mean? I don't really know. I don't really have a clue what that means. But I guess we're gonna find out. Welcome in, Sirius Lowell, Ragnarocker, Sheldon, Jebister, and my mom, if she's watching. I hope you're all doing well tonight. I'm looking forward to this. I have been for a while. We're doing the finale of Shining Force CD, and then Late Block has been very special lately. Welcome in to Soye. I am also working more on, I'm always working on my Shining Force collection, and I wanted to show y'all a little piece I got in today. I will try to have this available somewhere. I don't know yet where, or how I'm going to do it, but got in a new Shining Force 3 book.
The victors return to their normal.
It's about Scenario 3. It's got some interesting character art in here. Playing Radiant Dawn right now? Oh, sweet.
Some disappeared.
My favorite Fire Emblem.
Some left for further adventure.
My second favorite RPG, SRPG after Shining Force 1. I was going to show some of the art in here. Got some Don Hort, Gracia. There's Kate. The book did come right before stream, actually. I'll have photos of it up on the Discord before very long. The most interesting thing, there is a section on the premium disc. I've not looked at it, because we're still going to do that together. But there's some art in here that I had not seen anywhere else. Aside from that, the characters' portraits and stuff.
The story begins.
You got stuff like that.
20 years after.
It's like the four monks, or yeah, the Bullzome like priests. And then you have the Walkie-Ray up above them. There's a couple of these like black and white, kind of almost lithograph looking kind of things. It's kind of cool. But enough about books, for the time being. I was also going to promote the Late Block real quick, if you're curious how that's going. This is how that's going. The games we find for Late Block are something truly special. They really are. It's one of the hardest games I have ever played. So even if you can't stay up that late, I understand. You should definitely check out the VOD. And I'm going to try to raid into it again this week, in a little bit of a different way, and we'll see if it works. But enough of a preamble. Let's get into the museum, whatever that means. How far? Is this your first time playing Radiant Dawn, Tessoya? Put our books in order. 1, 2, 3. As soon as I say we're done with books, we grab another book. I did do some grinding off-screen to grind up the team that I was not using. So they should be up to snuff. Everybody is 20, except I think Wendy, who's like 18 or something, so close enough. I don't think like 2 extra MP for Wendy is really gonna make or break us. We want to do cartridge. And we're going to the museum. You think you don't know, but you know what you're in for. I don't know what I'm in for. It's also weird to me that it's bugging out like that. I wonder if it did that in the original, or if that's like part of the way I'm playing it. I'll get it for you, just a second. Here it is. Is this a sequel? Yes. Sequel to what? Okay, that. Then I may know some of the characters in it. What difficulty? We're gonna do normal, as usual. Does Wendy have Blaze 4? Not sure. Welcome in, Justin. Oh, a little tough. Good. Now, let's enjoy the story together. Bonus chapter. Okay. So we got this by finding the museum ticket in the well. In book 1, I believe. Okay, so it is an actual museum. First time I just started the battle where Ike's team fights Micaiah's team. Ooh, that's awesome. Zyhark is my favorite character. One of them, anyway. Luke, Jaha, Eric, enjoy, in quotes. Natasha glared at the three. Like unruly kids on a field trip. Hey everyone, behave. It's the most historic museum in Cyprus. Are they all gonna come alive? Is that what we're doing? Welcome in, Sinister. Hope you're doing well tonight. Oh, they're all coming alive. Zyhark. In quotes. Oh, uh-oh. Oh, what's going on? Nick, are you alright? Oh. Oh, I see. I see what we're doing. It's all the bosses. Dantum, Barbara, Death Woldol. Is regular Woldol here? Is he flanked by regular Woldol? No, he's flanked by Solo. Bazoo. Warder. Geppel. Oh, Hindel's here. Okay, and we actually have to fight him this time. Evil monster. Yeah. Oh, there's Woldol. Okay, there's real Woldol. Dava's here. Okay. I see why y'all wanted me to grind. There's Gordon. It's like the SF2 bonus fight, but less fun. Nah, we'll be fine, I'm sure. Okay, how do we want to approach this? What do you have? You have Freeze 2. I gotta decide which direction I want to pull first. Kind of leaning towards a little bit of right, a little bit of left. What's your move? And is there terrain? Okay, there's 15% terrain effect. Okay. Alright, I think we're capable of this. I don't think anyone mentioned it. That orb in the Dava battle was how she used her laser eye effect, I think. That's why she stopped using it after passing. Oh, I didn't even notice she stopped using it after we passed. Okay. So that is helpful information, though. So she can't do that here, is what I'm gleaning from that. 1, 2, 3. I don't know if he can walk over that. 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2. So if I go like here, you probably can't reach me. Does this maintain their inventories? No, it doesn't. Let's take a peek real fast at that. Counter Sword, Wraith Axe and Running Ring, Shut Cannon, Healing Mystery Staff, Protector Ring. Okay. I think I can live with this. Yeah, oh, Wendy's 16. So she only has Blaze 3. We'll be okay, though. Magic in this is so bad, I'm really not too plus about it. Alright, yeah, I think we can make do with all this. I'm a little annoyed. I had Eric as a 2 range, and now he's 1 range, but they should have gave Iome 8 move and let him do whatever. Oh, that would be terrible. With the mystery things, I think we can... The mystery stabs, I think we regen MP as we go. So, I'm not too afraid. I am just realizing, though, I meant to check and I forgot. Who is the game over condition? Excellent start. Let's go. I don't think you can reach. Which is fine. Need to make sure I have enough damage on both sides. Nick, if I recall correctly, I'm pretty sure I had Nick die in grinding attempts. And it was fine. So that's when I started to wonder. I'm like, is it Deanna? Is it Natasha? Is it all of them? Not really sure. Do that for the time being. I'm really curious how they're gonna move. The way they're gonna move is gonna determine what I need to do. Deanna here for now. Wendy should at least have attack, so that might be her best use. She does have attack. I believe in this game, though, it is single target, which feels not super ideal. M. Bison has really fallen off. It's Jaha Trust. I don't think he's the game over condition. I think you're gaslighting me. Alright, are you... Okay, cool. You're gonna move this way. So yeah, we're just gonna chill. Eom is the only one that I am actually, like, particularly afraid of. I don't mind them grouping up like that. Okay, oh. You're just gonna double turn me. Alright, that's fine, I suppose. That won't do too much. You're both gonna double turn me. Okay. Cute. Very cute. I need to be ready for more double turns, though. With him just smacking us, we probably handle... Yeah, we handle that just fine. We are gonna need to converge on him, though. Have you played Battle Royale? I hosted a whole Battle Royale tournament. If that's what I'm thinking. No, that's Clash. What was Battle Royale? I'm not sure that I have. Is that a fan game made by... I don't know. I don't know who that one would be made by. Alright, let's see. I think solo is now the top priority to get rid of because of what he does. Let's throw a freeze at it. Well, probably doesn't take too much from that. Maybe we do throw out an attack here. It's an SF mod. I'm not sure I played that one. If it's not on the channel, I definitely haven't played it. Okay, yeah, she does recover MP. He just had a double turn. Let's get rid of Gordon before he does anything. There we go. He would have one-shot Gordon at this point. Wow. It's an SF2 mod with all the battles. No, I've not played that then. How much does Zon do? Good amount, good amount. I don't want to count my eggs before they hatch or anything, but I feel like this is pretty doable. Alright, we get rid of you here. I mean, I'm gonna play all the mods at some point. Heads up that after I finish some stuff if I get available, I'm planning to join you in VC tonight. Yeah, that's always cool. Rip Gordon Ramsay, yes. He had his eyes bugging out of his head, just like the real one. Now, the real one is apparently super nice in the British version. I thought that was so strange. There we go. Since I only know Chris Vods with you as the co-host, I kind of miss that dynamic. Yeah, Ty has done a lot for the channel. He really has. Gone but forgotten. Or not forgotten. Alright, I feel like we're off to a pretty good start. The right side's already clear. They're gonna get turns coming up here. Probably move like that and cut off Barbara. Because she has the axe that can do AoEs, and Dantum does not. It's Natasha that had attack. I meant to comment on it, I realized. It's whatever, though. Oh, he's just gonna have a high enough aggro that it's fine. Oh, the names? What, that their names are, like, all from Shining Force 2? Because they decided we couldn't handle Japanese names over here? Oh, the mages. Yeah, they're regenerate. Yeah. It's because they have mystery salves. They regen MP. So, really, we can outlast whatever we need to. Luke will not regen MP, so we'll save his. Plus, he does a bunch of damage. In the last book, I think Sarah had one. So I got to mess around with the regenning MP. I really thought the museum was going to be, like, a plot thing still. I really didn't know what to expect. Given the name, I kind of thought it might be this, but I was not sure. It'd be interesting to have an SRPG with a real aggro system like an MMO, where enemies start prioritizing the party members doing the most damage. I don't think I've ever seen that. I don't think I have either. I've seen... I might have seen one or two that, like, will prioritize who does the most damage, but, like, it's who hypothetically will, not who is. It's not, like, an active consideration. It's just who has highest attack stat. But yeah, I think the most common is more along the lines of, like, who are we going to do the most damage to? Are you 2 range? No, you're not 2 range. None of our centaurs are 2 range anymore. You might get that kill. Excellent. Alright, and then as long as Dantum doesn't, like, start lifting weights between now and, like, 2 turns from now, I think we've escaped, the beginning at least, without casualties. Welcome in, Hellcat! Thank you so much for watching through all the VODs and stuff. I saw your comment right before I started, and that's awesome. Makes me feel good inside. It's going really well so far. I think we're getting through this without any casualties. We're gonna heal up. And I think we're doing fine. Not too tough yet. Alright, let's start healing people up here. Definitely gonna top people off. But if we just use heal 1 to do that with, like, Sarah, I believe she's gonna gain MP. Yep. So I'm using 1 MP per turn, and I'm still gaining. So we shouldn't run out if I play this right. Alright, there goes Dantum. I don't like how they're grouping up around Iom. That's gonna be tough. These weird little groups they're making. Do you move? You have 0 move. That's good. He's crossed the whole map to go stand over there. Okay. Yeah, I think we're going to start moving up and to the left, and we'll take out the left side first. I assume I need to take out every enemy. Yeah, I want to be a running aggro value throughout the fight to decide who's the biggest threat. Definitely have not seen that. That would be interesting. I wonder... I guess it would have to be doing damage to enemies in general, because if you did just who's the biggest threat to that enemy, they probably would die before they could make that assessment. I gave up hope that I'd ever get to play Shining Force 3 due to never owning a PC. And your style of play / style of video is the only way I wanted to watch it go down. Aw, thank you. That's really awesome. I'm glad that I could be that for you. That's really, really cool. I'm a little curious why you say that. I like to get feedback like that so I know what am I doing right, and then what can I do better. Seems like it could be crazy hard when you get up top. Yeah. I don't know how we're gonna handle that group right there. That is unclear. You're at full. You need heals. I think this is going to be a slow and steady wins the race kind of thing. I just wanted to see mages die. Nah, they'll be fine. Enemy mages will die. I think we'll go around. Not with you, though. I don't trust you to live. These two, I think, can go around, though. Sinister says, the aggro idea is interesting. My concerns would that incentivize players to just use the biggest tank to deal damage so the enemies all swarm them and then do no damage? Would that make the AI ignore healers? Both good questions. Okay, Dawn can move around. You can run SF3 on a smartphone now? That's crazy. Emulation's getting so nuts. I'm able to do stuff even here that I'm like, I can run that? Y'all learn more about what that is in the future. We're here to see the Mona Lisa in person. I mean, what else do you do at a museum? Definitely not a boss rush. Welcome in, Shud King. Just got here, feeling the deja vu from the end of SF2. A little bit. I like these kinds of things. I think they're really fun, like bonus maps. So, I mean, I'm down for this. I think it's cool. But, it is weird. It feels kind of arbitrary how they're grouping up. I'm a little bit confused by that. Because it's not like characters that go together. But I assume we'll be able to peel some of them away. My biggest concern is I probably need to be a little more spaced out than I am. Because I'm not within 2 moves away from some of these guys. And they could move and, like, bolt 3 me or something. Especially, like, Bazoo right here. Okay, doesn't want to yet. I'll send you a message on Discord sometime with my full thoughts on why that playthrough meant so much to me as a viewer, but also add everyone in the chat brings a lot to these as well. Oh, for sure. Like, yeah, y'all help the show work. I would not know, like, you know, where to find stuff, or, like, that there's stuff to find, and the input that y'all have a lot of the time is really, really insightful. In most MMOs, healing also generates aggro equal to the amount you're healing rather than damage. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Alright, we're gonna kind of space out as we approach here, so that we can't just get AoE'd altogether. Chat is a menace, let's be real. Welcome in, Captain. People are pretty well behaved for the most part. For the most part. Let's see. I'll put Roos up here. They're gonna start rushing us here in a minute. I should check. I assume the evil monster can't move. We'll prioritize Deanna since he, like, does damage. As opposed to Windy. I'm here to steal, see the artwork. I mean, if you can fit Iom in your car, he's free to a good home, I think. I like how SF1 and Radiant Dawn are your two favorite SRPGs. SF1 is the most linear one I've ever played, and Radiant Dawn is the complete opposite. Well, you know, I consider Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn kind of as one game, so that might be something to take into account. Yeah, that hurt. But he is now exposed. We can run up on him and get rid of him. Chat's pretty good, aside from the panic to running to delete spoilers before I see it. Yeah. Yeah. They're still not too bad about that, though, most of you guys. We have Bolt 3, which can get pretty far. This one's pretty tough. Chu Rao also does a lot. We're gonna have to kind of stay out of range, I think. Move Nick up. Yeah, if I do that, I'm in range of Bolt. We'll try and bait them down a little bit more. I knew he was going to go for Roos. Hopefully that doesn't do 26. Don't double turn me, please. Give my healer something. I might should just Healing Seed, honestly. Yeah, let's... I want to do damage, but I think we need to Healing Seed to make sure that Roos doesn't die. Do I want to spend enough for that? Or do I want to just... yeah, probably. That's probably the play. There we go. Oh, hi, Mom. My mom is in here. Alright. Welcome in. Thanks for starting me on a lifelong obsession. So we're doing a final battle that is taking place in a museum, and these are all of the bosses from the game we just finished. So we have to beat all of them in a row. Or all of them all at once. It's kind of hard. So I'm trying to play the long game, play slow, and not die. He definitely is going to hit us with 2 bolt spells in a row. which is gonna do a lot. Especially if I give him a lot of targets. I don't think I have a choice. I'm the bad influence. Yeah, it's the first time my mom... She's tuned in before, but she's never... I don't think she's ever had a YouTube account to leave comments before. Is Mom also a gamer? No, not really. I think her favorite game back in the day, at least, was Space Invaders, if I remember that right. That and maybe some Pac-Man. She got me Space Invaders and Pac-Man. Like, Space Invaders for the N64 and Pac-Man something for the Game Boy. I don't remember. So she could play it a tiny bit. Oh, I remember Mother's Day is coming up. I appreciate the reminder, though. Shining Force 1 is basically the only game my mom ever played. She played it with me on her lap when I was a baby, and I started on it when I was 5. That's crazy. I wasn't quite that young, but I still have, I've got it sitting on my shelf right next to my desk. I still have the original copy that my mom got me back in, like, 3rd grade, I think? And Frogger? Okay. Also a good choice. Another one that I am quite bad at. My mom's main thing is books, so especially like children's books. So if y'all like children's books or know anything about that, that's very much her realm. Was that Sega Smash Pack? Yes, it was. My mom got it for me because it had Sonic on the front, and she was like, I know you like Sonic. And then, little did I know, my favorite game of all time would also be on there. You have full MP. Let's throw an attack on Nick. Harry Potter? Oh yeah! We read all the Harry Potters, and then I still have vivid memories of being in San Antonio visiting for a conference that one of my parents had to go to. And San Antonio used to have this crazy bookstore that was in like an old like rock quarry or refinery or something. I don't remember. But Harry Potter 6 was coming out while we were there. And she took me to the midnight release and it was super fun. He's going to be able to hit Nick with a bolt, but he's got an attack spell on him. If I do this, we can probably whittle down Bazoo pretty quick. I'm hoping. Alright, we can see his health. Probably like 3 more attacks-ish. You can't reach. Let's do that to give him another target. And maybe Jaha has enough priority that he'll actually take the attack that we know is coming. I don't know when we want to throw out the bolt. I think not yet, though. I still have my original Genesis and Genesis copy of SF1 that my mom got my dad in '94 when I was born. That's awesome! I had to buy my copy of SF1 later, but I've also got a copy on Genesis now. At least I think I do. I don't remember. Let's go ahead and start throwing out a couple of heals. That's how I started too, playing Sega Smash Pack and stumbling onto my favorite game of all time. Yeah, I also really liked Comic Zone, but man, that game is hard. Still have the paper from when I was 6 or 7 where my dad wrote down cheats for Sonic on the Game Gear. Oh, that's cute. It makes me sad kids these days are going to be like, what are cheats? We used to go on the internet and write down cheat codes. Might do that. Do I want Roos to be that far out? Yeah, I do. Let's just try and prioritize getting rid of Bazoo here. We'll figure out how we're gonna heal him here in a sec. Okay, what's everybody's health at? So you need heals, you need heals. Okay. So I could do that and hit both. That's also an option. That's probably enough. Kid Chameleon modding was the first real internet thing I got involved with. I love that. I love that you're always just in some sort of programming, modding something. Another fun story about my mom. I really wanted to get Fire Emblem Path of Radiance from Blockbuster. And I had to look up for what, like, would be potentially controversial in it. You know, one of the, like, parent guides. And then, I ended up clicking on the wrong thing, and then I think I had to go shower. And so she read it, and it was, like, some game that was not Path of Radiance that was, like, way more intense. So then she was like, yeah, I don't know if you should play this. Like, it has, like, a bunch of blood and gore in it or something. And I was like, are you sure? So I had to get her to relook at it. Go find the Teodrins Projects page on the Kid Chameleon wiki and you'll find it. I got my start with the 1-level mod, Blue LMAO Woods. I'll have to actually go play that. That sounds fun. Welcome in, Michael. Hope you're doing well this evening. Yeah, we are doing a night at the museum thing. All the statues and displays came alive, and it's all the bosses from the game we just finished. So we're having to beat all of them all at once. Also, he is almost out of MP. I don't even think he can throw another bolt at me. I'm the old man who played Atari in real time. I'm sorry. I kid, but, like, Atari is definitely before the line that I can go back and play and have fun. I can do, like, Super Nintendo and Genesis is about where my line is, and I can have, like, real fun with those games. Anything from before that, it starts to get a little bit tough. Nick still has an attack on him, and he's only missing, like, 10. Let's go. We are gonna have to get some heals going, though. Let's not move you up. Let's have you stand here. Blood and gore like Sky Sharks. Oh, that movie was so bad. It's still one of the worst ones I've ever seen. Alright, let's throw out an aura here. Yeah, right there. I played SF 1, 2, and CD while I was still in primary school. These games are great for baby's first SRPG. Just if you grind, and just challenging enough if you do not. Yeah, I mean, it was challenging for me grinding as a kid, because I could barely read the first time I played. But it was a good motivator to learn how to read. I was doing this, playing Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And those were, like, my very first, like, I want to read, because I really want to know what they're saying. I enjoyed books as well. But, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Uses really big words. Like, obliviate. And I was like, what does that mean? Plus, those card effects were really complicated, so it was like, alright, I gotta start reading to get how any of this works. Sega Smash Pack was amazing. I didn't have Kid Chameleon, Comic Zone, or Vector Man 2 on my original Genesis, so that collection ended up being a hub for some of my favorite games ever. Definitely. I still don't have Genesis copies of any of those. Comic Zone's the one I would really like. Vector Man is so weird to look back at, like, graphically. I feel like that would look weird running on an actual Genesis. I'm kind of surprised they were able to do that. Let's go, Natasha. Do your, like, 5 damage. It actually mattered. Let's see. The presence of evil monsters suggests that other monsters in the game are not evil. He feels like the strangest one in terms of name. How far do I have to backtrack to go back and around? Oh. What? Can I walk over these? If not, ooh. No, I can't. So, to actually get around, we have to go up through here. Ooh. I see. How weird. Alright. Did not understand that's what we had to do. We have to go up through the top. So Dava kind of has to be last. Okay. That hurts. If you double turn me, they just die, which sucks. Who else are we dealing with? What do you have? Dispel, Battle Axe. Okay. I think we're gonna be okay. Is this a modified version? I don't think it is. Welcome in, though, Rodri Bara? I think this is the vanilla version. That is not a lot of damage on her. You still have attack on you. Let's do that, and we'll throw out another aura here in a minute. I'm gonna need to regen MP, though. Huge. Let's go. Pharaoh, what is that? A type of cheese. Comic Zone soundtrack is so good. I do still listen to it sometimes. I played early Yu-Gi-Oh! In high school, and that was the good period before Power Creep made the game only last an average of 2 turns. Yeah, I would never play it today. It looks really not fun today. For that exact reason. I do not know how they let the game get to that state. Yeah, let's do that, because we can heal Nick up too. I had trouble reading and writing during my early grade school years. Teacher had myself and a few other of my classmates stay after school to pick up on my reading and writing during first grade. That's awesome, though, that you got it done. I'm so glad we threw out some heals. I haven't really talked about it yet, but I actually, life update, have decided to kind of return to school, and I'm actually getting my certification to be a teacher. So, I will be that, hopefully, be that English teacher before too long. I went and did a big exam for it today. So, I'm a little bit brain dead today, but we're gonna press on. It was like a 3-hour exam, and I finished at like 5. Or I got home at like 5, I don't know. The evil monster is like... I feel like he was supposed to be Eom, just by the way, and then they like realized that Eom was maybe the only hook they had for a sequel. And so, very last second, I feel like they were like, quick, make him not Eom, so they just renamed him and then made Eom something else. Evil Monster is the most phoned-in SF boss ever. He really is. I'm grateful to Miss Montijo because I've been an A student since. That's awesome to even remember her name. I've got a couple, too. I'm trying to keep up with chat here. I got it. Let's see. I missed a few streams, so I'm headcanoning a progression of palette-swapped enemies before Evil Monster. Yeah, I mean, that would make more sense than what we saw. I don't know if Dawn has the... No, Dawn doesn't have the defense to do that. Let's go for that. That's awesome, I majored in English. Sweet! I did not. So my exam today was to go prove that I could do what I need to do. And I think I passed. I'll know in like a week. But I feel confident. It's not that bad these days. Cries as my opponent is still taking his turn after 45 minutes. Yu-Gi-Oh! Seems pretty rough these days, if I'm honest. You probably will not do enough damage with that. Let's throw it out anyway and find out. Is our friend Kat helping you get through the process? Yes, she is. I've called her a couple times to ask for advice. I'm taking a different route through than she did. Because she did that through school. That's really bad. That helps. I'm just trusting that I can manage the English stuff because it's sort of my hobby. I have enjoyed lately working on like a list of archetypes throughout like the Shining series and stuff, just for fun. So when I do this kind of stuff for fun, like I'm not too worried about doing it for real. I never beat the main game. Young me kept getting stuck on the second level where you needed a mask to scale the wall. All those old games are so hard. Especially Kid Chameleon, I never beat it. I beat Comic Zone because somebody on Steam added a mod that gave you infinite health. I like the soundtrack of this game. I know Elven Town on piano. I love the Shining soundtrack. It's really, really good. Pretty much for all of them. Exam, I missed the context. What happened? Are you finally getting your driver's license? So, in Texas, we have what's called alternative certification, because there's a teacher shortage. And so what that means is you... basically, you didn't go to school for teaching, but you're confident you can do it. And so, basically, I'm enrolled in classes that I'm trying to get done by the end of the summer, that are, like, online courses. So I'm doing that. I have to do observation, kind of student teaching. I'm planning it for like a week and a half. I think I'm out of range here, but I'm not sure. Also, Dawn is probably not the one to move into that spot. You have to... What else do you have to qualify? You have to have a bachelor's degree, and you have to have had a GPA of 2.9 or higher, and you get college credit. You can, like, be certified to teach certain things based on college credit, or you can do what I did today and go take an exam to prove that you know what you're doing. Because I did not have enough English classes in my college sort of thing to qualify me initially to just go do that. 2, 3, 4. I think I'm out of range here. So that's the exam I went to take today. It was 3 hours long, 125 questions, about like poetry and English and writing and phonics and the history of literature and all sorts of stuff. Okay, we're gonna let Sarah recover MP here before we press on. I think we're gonna play lame win games and use Shade to get rid of the Eom heads. And thank you for pointing out he got a Reign of Cure earlier. I did see that. And I probably should have said something. Working with the elderly to kids has got to be a wild swing. When they get towards the end, they kind of do regress to kind of kids. So, plus the client I've had the longest was an English professor, so we did lots of exercises for that stuff anyway. She would be very excited. It feels like most TCGs after the 2000s became a mess of complexity and power creep. I wonder how inevitable that is in TCGs. Because a lot of them are that way, I agree. 1, 2, 3, that puts me in range. I need to not do that. We need to move Jaha. SF2 soundtrack is such a downgrade from 1. Oh, I disagree. I still really like, I prefer SF1, but 2, the soundtrack is still phenomenal. If you haven't, I'm curious if it would change your mind if you listen to, like, the orchestral arrangements. I can post some in the Discord in the music tab later, if you want me to. But there's some orchestral arrangements for SF2 that are just absolutely beautiful to listen to. Comic Zone is so hard, then you look up a full game Let's Play on YouTube and it's 15 minutes. It's because punching stuff in Comic Zone damages you, which is an insane choice. Was it the Praxis? Was what the Praxis? I'm not entirely sure. I enjoy Meg as a character, but having to actually field her as a unit is painful. Yeah, you just kind of want... For those of you that don't know, Meg is a character in Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. And she's an armor knight that is kind of like a unit that is like a pupil that you want to like work on. Also, Shade, let's go. But yeah, she's really tough because her growths I don't think are particularly good. Her move, being an armor knight, is terrible. She's just really hard to get going into anything. I considered teaching a lot when I was younger, but ultimately never pursued it. I kind of did too, but it just kind of made sense with, like, the time that I have right now, and that it was like, I can invest 2 months and then have an entirely different career path. So I was like, it just kind of makes sense for where I'm at in life. And I had my longest client pass away. And I kept her going on hospice with my coworker. Together we kept her going on hospice for 7 years. So, like, we set records for them. And it was her too. Like, it was definitely her choice, but it just kind of hit a point where it was like, am I going to do caregiving the rest of my life? If so, I need to expand my company, because I kind of have my own... The government considered what I do as being a small business owner. And we punish small business owners in this country a lot. It's really frustrating. My biggest tax bill every year was specifically because I was a small business. And that has a hefty fine attached to it. It's really, really frustrating. And I don't think we should do it that way. But it was like, am I gonna, really double down and expand my business, probably hire on more people. And then there was also the liability fees. That I would need hefty liability insurance to cover other people's caregiving and stuff. And that, I spoke to some lawyer friends, and they were like, you're looking at some really serious stuff. So, I don't know if you want to do that. And I still might in the future. Could always go back. But, at least for right now, where I am in life, that didn't seem like the right next step. Shrine from SF2 is one of my favorite video game songs ever, so is the Elden Village theme. I love the Shrine theme. Tialdrin calls it, like, the lullaby or something. It, like, puts him to sleep. Teachers deserve way better pay. Yes, they do. It's pretty tough out there. I love that there's, like, 3 conversations happening in chat. I mean, I appreciate it. That's how you know the channel's getting kind of big. We've had more viewers live, which I really appreciate. It's really cool. And I'm really glad that so many of y'all love Shining Force and SRPGs and like what we're doing. When we get to the end, I'll talk about what we're doing next, because CD obviously is coming to an end. SF2 music is good when you listen to not the music from SF2. Well, you know, it's just arrangements, it's still the same songs. I like the Genesis sound chip, but a lot of people don't. I had a friend try SF2 for the first time the other day, IRL, that like is not an SRPG person, and I was like, oh, I love the soundtrack, and she goes, I'm getting a headache from it. And I'm like, oh, well, you know. I was trying to think of a nice way to say that, Taya, since I'm still new. Oh, no, you're fine. The test you took, I had to take the praxis for teaching. I did not make it through the student teaching, though. Oh, that's unfortunate. Both my parents are teachers, so I know a little bit of what to expect. My dad was a high school band director my whole life. My mom was as well, and then she rebranded and kind of became a librarian. She went back to school, got a master's degree, and she still works kind of in the library space. I don't know if you guys... I don't know if they do it outside of Texas, but we have, like, Texas Bluebonnet Awards. It's like an award for children's books. She helps run that right now. But I've really enjoyed helping out both my parents around schools and stuff, so... Meg's still recovering from all her abuse during Family Guy. Yeah. I forget Family Guy is still running sometimes. I punish small business owners by putting their supplies on the top shelf. I'm tall enough that I can get it, so there. I'm gonna have to really be careful to keep Shade out of range of Eom while I deal with the other head. Also still play lame win games, I don't care. This is nuts. This might be because I can surround him, this might be slightly easier than it was in the actual final battle. Welcome in, Lavathor! I'll just be the little guy behind you yelling, yeah! I need that guy. That guy helps. My wife was an independent contractor for years. She had a job that was a pay cut, but she's taking more money home because of the taxes. Yeah, exactly. That, I believe, is what I was considered as well. And it's just nuts the way that we handle all that. I've been an independent... It's going to be a big change. I've been an independent contractor almost my entire adult life. Both for that business and some of the other jobs I did. I just always was an independent contractor. So I'm going to have actual tax forms to fill out. That people send to me rather than what I've been doing. It's gonna be a weird change. When I said there are a few characters I bench faster than Meg, Fiona was actually one of the few I had in mind. Yeah, Fiona's pretty bad. I think it's also that she's surrounded by other Cavaliers that are just better. Like, they're just straight upgrades, so it makes Fiona really unappealing. Her stats are apparently bugged. They gave her a level 1 stat line. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, that makes sense. The SF1 guitar medley is one of the greatest pieces of music ever created. Oh, it's so good. And I love that the composer for the original Shining Force commented on it and said, like, that's really what he was hearing in his head while composing it. I mean, there's no higher praise than that. Was this friend really that did not like the soundtrack? No. No, I still need to get really to play the Shining Force games. She's played a little bit through... I bought her, I think, all of the ones that were on Steam before they got delisted. Because they were all $1. I still don't know why Sega delisted all of them. But I bought a bunch of my like good IRL friends' copies of all the Shining games right before they got delisted. And she played through SF1, I think up to the first boat map. Which is a good way in. And then decided that it was not for her. It does feel like I'm trying hard to train her compared to the other... Oh, you're actually trying? Yeah, her, like, blue outfit's really nice. It definitely makes her stand out, but yeah, she's just rough. Astrid's another one that's like a... She's a knight that has a bow. primarily, and she's another one that I really wanted to get to work, and she is just not real good. What do you think about the Subnautica 2 story, how they won the lawsuit and all that? I have no clue what you're talking about. I'm very curious about that. Maybe post it to the Discord and like the off topic or something, and I'll read about it, because I haven't heard anything about that. At least you're not doing this battle on hard. No, I don't play games on hard the first time I play them. Because then if you ask me how hard is it, like, I'm not going to know what to answer you, because it's like, well, on the hardest difficulty, it's very difficult. It's like, alright, that's not quite what I'm asking. Because I want to be able to compare every SRPG I play across, like, fairly evenly. So if I know what the normal is, you know, what the baseline is supposed to be, then I have a better point of comparison than, you know, I played this game on hard, I played this one on normal, this one on easy. It just kind of depends. I'm glad you're playing lame. I don't want this to end. I mean, it must come to an end, though, but you don't need to worry. We are going to do tons more Shining Force stuff, tons more SRPGs. I've got plenty to keep you entertained. We are going to be doing Shining Force stuff for years to come without running out. So if you're concerned about that, don't be. It's going to be okay. And I'm still going to be sticking around doing it because I love doing it. Radiant Dawn is weird, an amazing game in terms of narrative ambition, structure, and ludonarrative assurance. Assonance. But the character balancing is really uneven. Lots of growth units with no opportunity to actually grow. I think it's easier to write an epic over 30 plus chapters, or 60, you know, if you count Path of Radiance as well. I think that's a lot easier than balancing an SRPG across that many characters to... And, like, gameplay-wise, that's a lot harder, I think. Because the number of playable characters in that game is staggering. That's how you know we're not friends. Nihil didn't buy me Shining Force. I don't think I had you on Steam then. Either that or you already had it. I don't remember. I sent you a package the other day, though. Getting my friends interested in even trying Shining Force has always been a losing battle that I gave up entirely. Yeah, I'm still trying a little bit, because I'm very into the lore and stuff, and I want some IRL people to know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's tough. I had some friends over the other day, and I had them try Shining Wisdom, because I was messing around with that the other day, and all of them were like, why would you play this? Like, the controls are just insane. Designed by a madman. Astrid was MVP for me in my hard playthrough because of the double XP gain. She shot up far... Oh, okay, yeah, that... I can see how that might happen in hard. I want them to create a mini Sega Dreamcast already. We've already got the miniature 16-bit consoles. I hope they're delisting these Sega Classics specifically to announce a mini Dreamcast. See, that would make sense, but it's been over a year now, and they haven't said anything. Sega's planning for this has been really bizarre. Do we charge Eom now? I think I'm gonna wait till he gets his double turn, and then maybe. Maybe we do. I appreciate in this game that they don't heal. I should wait till Sarah... we can retreat. We can back off. Actually, I don't know. Will the turn count on this map overtake the turn count on the late block game that's coming up? No. And it will not be close. I've worked on Thorn of Worldia. I keep wanting to say Throne. I've worked on that game off-stream a tiny bit, so y'all are in for a treat. It is one of the hardest games I've ever played, seemingly maybe not intentionally. When does he get a turn? There you go. Okay, 1. He gets 2, and I know it. Where's the second one? Does he not get 2? Surely they didn't nerf him for this. There it is. Okay, second one. Okay. Who are we gonna move in? I'm thinking Jaha. Jaha feels like a good candidate. Let's do it. Let's throw attack on him. I guess I'm just sad because I'm back in the VOD world once my back heals and have to work again. Until I can pay someone else to work for me at my business. What do you do? Maybe we can find you a worker here. Alright, let's throw Shade in as well. Here we go. Jaha, go make us proud. $30's not too bad. He's got like 300 health. They really did not give me many options for ranged unit, huh? Can I reach? I can. Yeah, why not? I was gonna say, I know he resists this, but I'm like, well, all of the bosses resist it. 56 is pretty good. Actually. Maybe I should have worked her up till she had Blaze 4. That's not bad. I thought he resisted a lot more than that. Nihil has funded your 24-hour Ironmans. That counts for something. I did help with that, yeah. Thankful once again for my mom taking over tonight and letting me be here. Oh, moms are just the best. Just let me know, let them know you can find a bikini for Teo and they'll be sold. Definitely. Can see some 8-bit booba. Are you convinced now? They'd be like, no. Wow, we're stronger now. That's crazy. Alright, let's throw Claude in too. We are so much stronger now. I think you mean Nihil was given carte blanche to make me suffer. It was pretty fun. To be fair though, the stuff that I thought would make you suffer the most didn't, and the stuff that I thought would be innocent was not. I played Wisdom ages ago and I beat it, even though I thought it was incredibly wonky. I enjoyed it back when I was a kid, but not nearly as much as the SRPGs. That's where I am. I love it. And I'm glad it's part of the series. It is also my least favorite game in the series. Those are definitely not, like, mutually exclusive things. I think we're gonna throw an attack on Shade as well. I'm so pumped for Thorn of Wollerder. Yeah. It's pretty weird. I just can't believe... oh, he also updated that game. So, that'll be fun. I guess we'll keep him in. Need to throw him a heal here in a sec. I like how they count the 2 bosses as already licked with the Sword of Heija. That would have been a pain in the butt, and they would have had to give you that sword. I mean, I think it does more damage than what I'm using, so I would not have minded too much. It's weird not having, like, a legendary sword at the end. Thorn of Where's Waldo? Or Wololo. Welcome in, Ali Reza Malik. I wrote the GameFAQs guide for this game 25 years ago and haven't played it since. I feel like I need to now. Well, thank you for your service. It takes a special person to write guides for other people just cause. But tons of people use that. I definitely have used GameFAQs a lot over the years. I moved back home and bought the only bar in town. So if someone wants to move to the middle of nowhere in British Columbia and be a bartender, hit me up. You know? There are times I think about moving away and changing my name, starting over. I think we all get those thoughts sometimes, so hey, that's not a bad opportunity for somebody. Yeah, Captain did... it was some of the Fire Emblems, right? Wasn't it Sacred Stones that you did guides for? Now that you've played CD, if you had to put together a team of any 12 Shining Force characters across all games, would anyone from CD make it on the team? Maybe. Maybe. Yes is the short answer, because I would want some rep from every game. Does he just not Demon Breath in this? Not to jinx it, I'm not upset, but, like, have I just had incredible luck? Have I just won the coin flip, like, 6 times in a row or something? Probably Nick would make it. I really like the Shining Force Pro tags. Could throw out one more attack. I don't think we need it. I'm just gonna move her back and get her recovering MP. Yeah, we got it. Need one more hit. I don't think you can reach. Or I would have considered it. Because I really would like to get him before... How much health you got? Does that reach? Does that do 9? Let's go! Like, I really would like to get him before he does decide to Demon Breath us. Oh, he just turns back to stone. Okay. He could fly over there and get aggro from a bunch of stuff. I don't want to do that, though. I'm trying to think if anybody else would make it. Luke might be our healer. Luke is pretty good. No, that's not true. It'd have to be, like, Grace from Shining Force 3. And I probably would only want one in a team of 12. Grace, I think, is still the best healer in the franchise. Her or Yudo. One of the two. GameFAQs has been a godsend for games with puzzles and got me out of so many binds. So true. Oh, thank you for becoming a member, Hellcat! Mom, if you're seeing this, I swear I can explain. This might be a bad decision. Let's go ahead and shoot him. I will have... I've been thinking about what I can do to add value to the Trusted Tactician, the memberships. And I want to come up with some new stuff. If y'all have more suggestions, let me know. But y'all are going to get to pick some stuff coming out that I think is going to be pretty cool. I'll add you to the Trusted Tacticians part of the Discord. And I'll have some polls in there. I don't know how many weeks it's going to be. It's going to be a couple of weeks, but y'all are going to get to make some cool choices. Yeah, that's not good. We don't need Shade anymore. He is now expendable. I'm out of range. That sucks. Well. Dang, Shade goes down. Had guides for Golden Sun, FE7, Shining Force, Return of the Dark Dragon, plus a dozen other games. Lots of stuff for Diablo 2. I might have read... I didn't know you had some for Return of the Dark Dragon. I might have read that as a kid. It is definitely possible. Welcome in, Cyclone. Did I join the middle of a final boss fight again somehow? What Captain said. Kinda. It's essentially the bonus battle from Shining Force 2. After the credits. That is essentially what we're doing. We need to heal up Jaha before we go in. It sucks that we lost Shade, but, like I said, he kind of served his purpose. Think we'll be alright. If you moved away, changed your name, what new FE skill would you be? Pavice is already taken, after all. That's true. I would probably be something really goofy like Shove. Yeah. Something like that. Or some skill that nobody likes. That way nobody would find me. Can probably use another... we'll throw out another one. Yeah, I also usually use game packs as a last resort, but it was really helpful, like... I'm trying to remember some of the... I don't remember all the games that I used it for at this point, but it was definitely, like, usually last resort stuff. That are kind of the, like, I'm sure there's a secret here, I'm just not quite sure how. You know, stuff that... Sometimes it was just to tell me it was nothing. Like, Pokemon, I think it's Emerald, there's, like, these rocks that are really clearly for the Deoxys side quest. But I think it's like you have to be in person and get like a special Pokemon event or something. It's not in the base game. And I needed a guide to tell me, you're not doing anything wrong, it's not in the game. And I was like, ah. Because I spent a lot of hours puzzling over, well, maybe if I just rub the rocks in this way, it'll do some... No. Nope, it's just not a thing. Anyway. Okay, so Hill Demon Breath. I have to heal them up now. Wow. This is a crazy wall! Rip Claude. How do we deal with this? Goodness. I'm trying Fire Emblem for the first time to try and scratch that itch, since everyone here talks about Fire Emblem so much. I agree, I'm enjoying it, but it's not quite there. For me, some of them did. Path of Radiance got the closest. Minus the permadeath, but it had a lot of the themes and non-human characters that I liked in Shining Force. Has anything since this series scratched the itch for you? Flame Dragon Knights, yeah, also kinda. Definitely hard to access that game. If you email me, I can potentially help you figure out where to find it. I think we throw that out. That did like nothing. That was not the right choice. I'm starting to see where this gets hard. I could pull back, but like there's no making this easier. Shade had our Reign of Cure. I'm just now realizing that. Not ideal. Dawn is not in a good spot here. We need to get rid of both of these guys ASAP, though. They are terrifying. Do you have the ability? No, you don't. You can't cast anything at this point. Okay. Eric, just don't die. Goodness. Yeah, I think Shade is a dude. I never understood why in lore only swordsmen learn egress. Crap. except Natasha. Yeah, that is a good question. Yeah, I think we do that. I'm in mega tryhard mode right now. Let's go! We needed that. Wendy, there ain't a ton for you to do. Alright, how bad off are we? 18. 49. She's the only one that's really that low. I'm tempted to do the aura, though. To keep it range. I think we gotta. I don't know, at some point, it's probably because they started the egress on the swordsman and Shining in the Darkness. Because they had to, and then it just kind of became a thing. Might need to pull back to let her regen. I knew that was gonna happen. He's not as scary, though. Really don't need him right now at the same time. Have you played any of the Langrisser games or Warsong? Only for a very short time, and it's on the channel. It's part of what I did before I rebranded to be a Shining Force channel. I only did like one episode, and then I was trying to crap. I was trying to expand the channel back then, and then my co-host I ended up moving. And my co-host at the time, we were meeting in person to record. So it was just moving, life changes. I was like, yeah, let's reassess here. But I enjoyed what little I played of it. We are getting into a pretty rough spot. I do think we need to pull back. Yeah, the turn order is not helping. Let's Healing Seed him in case they chase us. Everybody struggles at this point. Alright, that makes me feel a little bit better. Alright, he's going back. Let's wait for her to regen some MP. Yeah, I want you out of here. Yeah, the problem is they're getting double turns and nobody can survive Woldall doing that for like 2 turns. I don't really know how we're gonna handle this, if I'm honest. I need her to regen. We're gonna have to heal Roos. Might fast forward some. Because we're just gonna have to regen some MP before we tackle the next bit. Maybe a south approach, so not all casters can hit at once. I mean, I'm trying, but it's tough. But yeah, I think you're right. The problem is getting both Woldalls coming after me. But I need her to be ready to cast Aura 4 on, like, every turn, I think. Let's go ahead and heal Roos up, just in case they decide to do something else. My mom had to play through Path of Radiance twice because she did not train the hero well enough to pass the solo mission near the end of the game. You don't have to pass it. You actually get slightly different endings and totally different characters based on if you can pass that or not. Which I think is kind of cool. Where did he just move? Okay. It's okay, you still have your mages. Yeah, it's not good. I do not think we're in a good spot, but we are going to use our mages to cast attack, to get some people hitting hard. I think we're going to be okay. If turn order doesn't totally screw us. Yeah, I think we're just out of aggro range. But yeah, I need that. The aura. Mystery Staff is clutch, as Jinzi would say. For sure. Both in this and Shining Force 3 had something similar. And during some of the bonus boss things, I was doing the exact same thing I'm doing right now. Here I am thinking the Eom exhibit was going to be the hardest part. I thought the same thing! Silly me, apparently. Fast forward, there goes our speedrun. Oh, yeah. I was so, you know, gonna count across a couple of weeks we were gonna do the speedrun. I don't know if they let you pause and come back. Probably not. I did grinding off screen anyway. I know you're joking, but I think about that sometimes, that I'm like, I could submit if I don't do that. Just have a ridiculous time of like 4 weeks or something. Mystery Staff is probably one of my favorite uniques in Shining Force, along with the Power Ring, Gisarm, and the Holy Swords. I mean, the Holy Swords are definitely my favorite. I'm still debating what they even are. If it's, like, the Holy Sword or a Holy Sword. I'm starting to think that there's just a ton of them. Because I don't know how else to explain, like, the Swords of Light and Darkness and Chaos Breakers showing up all over the series at this point. Which they very much do. I always thought it was the Chaos Breaker, but, like, I'm starting to think it's more of a Chaos Breaker. Alright, she's almost at full. And then we gotta make decisions on how we're doing this. Make sure everybody's full healed. Alright. How do y'all think I should approach this? Go further south, sure. I can start doing that. And then we're gonna put Roos in range. Demon Breath is really wide, is the problem. Yeah, put him here and we'll see if that triggers. You gonna come for me? No. Okay. Move Nick down and get him ready. I need Eric to not get caught up in it. Let's see. We'll state here. I don't think it's gonna matter. I think we move up by just like 1. Let's move over 1 and see if he likes that. Nope, that's not enough. We're just gonna kind of have to trial and error it, I think. I'd sacrifice Windy at this point. Actually, strong argument. Wendy, what do you have that would discourage me from doing that? You have the Protect Ring and the Healing Seed. Let's pass those maybe to somebody else, and then I think actually that's not a bad call. I think we pass. Who doesn't have a ring? You don't. You don't either. Okay. Yeah, I think we pass to them. Yeah, let's give Protect Ring to you, and then we'll give the Healing Seed away. Because that's really not going to help her survivability against Demon Breath. Oh. I got an Amber Alert. I'm not going to be out anyway, it doesn't matter. Sometimes I get them from really far away, and I'm like, I hope you're not counting on me to see that. Okay, and then let's give your Healing Seed. It's Deanna, I guess. The SF1 Chaos Breaker is probably the coolest Holy Sword in an SRPG, though. It probably is. Ike's Ragnell is also really high up there for me. Like, that's part of why Path of Radiance scratches that itch at least a little bit. Is because he also has a really sweet sword. If Chaos Breaker is the final sword, why isn't Chaos the final boss? As a kid, I wondered that. I actually did. For that exact reason. Okay, I think we gotta move Roos back in. And then, is that close enough for Wendy to get out there? Yeah. Barely. Ground Axe is also pretty good. The Ragnell up against a Fusion Laser Sword. I mean, I can't tell you all the reasons the Ragnell is cool because you haven't played that game. And I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's real cool. Okay. Let's see if that is enough. I forget how wide Demon Breath is. Does it go with 3 out? No, surely it goes 2 out. Yeah, okay. That was enough. Battle's on. And I'll try to heal her. If we can keep her going. If Wendy can tank this for us, would be dope. That's the second one. She might get a turn before this, and then... Do we pull her back, or do we keep her there as the sacrifice, is the question. Yeah, I think we have Eric move here. It's not a lot of damage. I mean, if we do this... Let me think through this real quick. If we do this, he attacks them, and then we get to Aura. Yeah, if we do a big Aura, then I think it's okay. Well, that turn order didn't go the way I thought it was gonna go. That's not gonna heal her enough. That's gonna heal more. That's still not enough. Yeah, I'm really worried about turn order screwing me here. Better. Kill it with Fire Roost. 43. Oh, I was really hoping he got a double. If he did, that would have been excellent. Yeah, we'll start working down Boldor too. That's not great damage. Okay. So we just got really unlucky before. Yeah, it's definitely a lightsaber reference. Alright, so I really need our healer now. And I think we Aura 4 to make sure she stays out of range and Eric gets a full heal. I think we keep Eric in. Get it, Erican? Why are you getting triple turns? And crits. Well, that sucks. Force Sword is a lame name, and the sword icon is blue, even though the battle sprite is green. It's very weird. I don't know why it is that way. I mean, there's no point in auraing now. Unfortunate. I mean, I kind of wonder if the Force Sword is called the Force Sword in Japanese. Given how many changes there were in Shining Force localization. Alright, let's throw attack on Deanna now. The Bull guy has his own boss music. Was he extremely important to the plot, or is he just weird? He's part of the Dava crew, and they're all, like, weird, meme characters. So, just weird. He gets so many turns! There goes Deanna. Not good. There goes Woldol. It's gonna be close. There's my healer's turn. Now that I don't need it. Constant turn order screwing me. Oh crap, I forgot he was low. Okay, he at least doesn't take much. Alright, your boost ran out. Let's give you another one. And then I need somebody to run up and give him a healing seed, because our healer, I know, is going to get a turn the second he dies. I gotta remember to equip his ring, too. There we go. The Chu Rao music is really good. Oh, okay, she actually did get a turn in reasonable time. You're at full. You're at full. You know, I honestly don't super trust it. I actually am gonna do that. We can wait here. We're in a good spot. We can regen her MP. Let's just get him to full health so he doesn't die to like 4 crits from Bullman. I was waiting for the crit and the double, like, I was like, here it comes. If we lose Roos, we're in really bad shape. We're already not in great shape. But Roos is our guy, I think, that's going to carry us to the victory here. There's really just something cool about weapon names. There's a really strong, unique named lance I once saw get generated together in battle called Dream Punisher. That is pretty cool. Yeah, I've seen the speedrunners use attack to win with Balbaroy and stuff. It's pretty interesting. We're gonna have to wait for you to get more magic as well. You know what, let's have you contribute. Why not? That's not too bad. 15 helps. I think that puts him in death range from Roos. Interesting, she's not blasting Dava beams either. Somebody mentioned earlier that maybe the in-lore reason is that she did that with her, like, orb that's on the final map, which she now doesn't have. So it seems like she can't do that. I don't know, it is very interesting. I don't know if I think that's how she was doing it. I think they maybe just took it away. Like, 'cause it would make this, like, ridiculous if she had it. 'Cause how would you even get up this? 'Cause it's, like, I think this wide on either side. So, like, what? You're gonna stand here, 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 and here? Like, it would be nuts. So I get them not doing that. Alright, we're gonna spread out. You have a healing seed. You don't. I think we need to pass the healing seed so that he can save his own life if he has to. Welcome in to Rabu Gento Games. Greetings to all from Brazil. Well, greetings from Texas. We are right at the end. We're at the last stretch here. We're gonna regen all our MP and make sure everybody's at full health. SF fans be like, I love random turn order. I didn't want to be able to plan anyway. I mean, usually it doesn't screw you that hard. Feels like a little bit of an exception to the rule, but I generally like the random turn order. Okay, I know she has Dava Breath. What do you have? You have Boost. Well, it's not too bad. We can deal with that. He wasn't in the main game, right? Because this is Hindle, right? Freeze 3. I don't love that, but we can deal with it. get all our MP back. I hate random turn order. And yet, Shining Force is your favorite series. How curious. Big fan of Shining Force. Why is Dava there again? So, in this, it's because, in Book 4, we are just doing, essentially, the boss rush from the end of Shining Force 2. It's every boss we fought, all at once. In terms of actual plot, her job is to test the incoming kings of Cyprus. So she kidnaps Henri, and several of the people are in on it. Like Guyane, and I guess Henri's in on it. But she kidnaps Henri at the coronation, and then puts Nick through, like, a gauntlet to see if he's worthy of being king. I like Book 3, and I mostly, like, yes, it is canon to me. There was some debate about that. The only thing I'm having a little trouble squaring is, during the Eom Uprising, why did somebody as powerful as Dava, with her little goons, not help out? It feels like she's quite powerful. And she even, like, belittles Eom, that she's like, oh, they put down that little devil, or whatever. So I'm like, you could have helped. Just saying. Thinking we use Windy as bait again. That was quite a good strategy. Shining Force is a dope series, but the design underlying its combat mechanics is definitely not the reason why. Well, this is like an extra challenge thing, so I'm like a little more forgiving. In terms of the main game, I think Shining Force was just never meant to be taken that seriously, and the, like, turn order agility system kind of underscores that. They don't expect you to not take deaths, they don't expect you to Iron Man, they expect you to play very casually, take some deaths, have it not be a big deal, and keep moving. Which I think is very different than what Kaga, for example, wanted for Fire Emblem. That is like, you're gonna take permadeaths, you're gonna replace people with other people, and then you might not make it to the end of the game if you take too many deaths, and that's just kind of how it is. Very, very different philosophies, and I respect both a lot. I like Shining Forces a bit more, because I just think it's more fun to go through the story and see how the characters grow, but that's also what I grew up on. I think both have their place, though. I leave for a bit, and I guess some stuff happened against Eom, I see. What happened? Eom was a pushover. He did not Demon Breath us once. It was super easy, barely an inconvenience. Woldol, on the other hand, oh, Woldol is serious business, apparently. Okay, let's start trying to bait him in. Woldol is super scary, both forms. Here he comes. Don't love that crit us. If it didn't, I think she takes two of those. She just dies. Nothing I could do about that. Well, let's send our attack boy in. Baby's first SRPG, unironically. I mean, it was mine. Do you have anything else that can help us? Not really. Alright, Roos. Good luck. Nice! Let's go! This force sure is shining or something. They sure are, Kara. Welcome in. Thanks for coming in for the finale. I greatly appreciate the support. We are almost at the end. You know, he's not attacking right now. He's not doing his freeze. I kind of don't want to incentivize him by moving people in range. Yeah, I think we just vibe. Yeah, alright, if this is how this is gonna go, I'm good with it. The lack of permadeath is fine. That's not my issue with SF's mechanics. Yeah, I think it's just kind of jank on purpose to incentivize you to just kind of play fast and loose with it. Because I know from oh, I'm good with that. No, I remember this. We saw him in the main campaign. I forget where. In my video playing Silver Ghost on the channel, which is a while back, but you can find it if you look, I pulled up an interview with, I think it's one of the directors or lead programmers, I can't remember. But he talks about how boring Fire Emblem is because he thinks it's really slow. And I feel like he is trying, in like, with the mechanics, to try and, like, make you move a little faster. I'm not sure he was ultimately successful, but I think that is the idea. It is very opaque with its mechanics. I think it doesn't want you to think about it too hard. As a first-time Fire Emblem player currently, who's only ever played SF, permadeath really frustrates me. And I think they have the ability for you to turn it off, because of that. I think it's not that big a deal in some of the games, because the older games are designed around it, so you can play around it more. I would not want to play Three Houses, for example, on permadeath, because if you lose somebody, you don't really get replacements in that. It's just not built for it. Welcome in, Jack Madrox! Hope you're enjoying the boss rush room. I am. This is a fun little send-off. And Geppel is definitely an ice break. It's been non-stop chaos of us losing people. And then Geppel. Woldill's on a mission, it seems. I mean, yeah, he, like, got slaughtered in the campaign, so I feel like he's trying to redeem himself here a little bit, and doing a pretty good job of it. A beat stick that's too low level? Yeah. I am not complaining, though. I'll take a victory lap before Dava. He's in Book 1 and had a nice little castle. Oh, okay. I just don't remember him that well. I feel like the Shining Force 3 equivalent is like a Defenda. I think that was his name. He shows up in this little it's not really a spoiler. He shows up in this castle for like 2 seconds, and you're like, who are you? And then you defeat him, and you're like, alright, bye. And you don't talk about him again. He exists in the story for like 5 minutes. I feel like so many SRPGs are opaque. Somewhat. It really depends on which ones you're playing. We're gonna let MP recover here. And we may as well top up Roos. I think you don't want to burden your player with too much going on. But at the same time, yeah, you do sometimes want an option for them to know stuff. I think about, like, having 1 RN versus 2 RN. It's like, for more casual players, even if you say, this game is 2 RN, that doesn't mean anything to them. So I'm like, do you need to say that? No, but as, you know, a more hardcore SRPG fan, it means a lot to me. I'll be honest, I left for a minute and figured I'd be coming back to a restart. I am impressed. I feel like that's what I'm, like, known for at this point. Like, I get into really bad situations, and y'all are like, I don't think you can do it based on this. And then I pull it out. I think Dava's gonna be tough. But I think we'll be okay. Because it was the same thing with some of the, like, SF3. I remember one of the SF3 secret bosses, it was that way, that y'all were like, you can't win this. Should probably just go ahead and restart, and it's like, nah. Okay, she has Dava Breath, which I think is 3 range, and then it's big AoE. So, we'll put Natasha here. I don't think I'm going to use it, but I'll state again just in case. I never caught it till now, but I've realized that double attacks seem to be way more common from bosses in CD. There's a weird formula running under the hood that makes doubles and crits much more common if you already have one. Here we go! Like, if I crit, or, I'm sorry, if I double, I feel like I'm more likely to crit on top of doubling. Alright, what we dealing with? We survived 2 of those. That's good. I'm gonna put her over here so we can reach him with attack. I think I'm out of range here. Can heal him 5 times. You gonna walk her dog? I appreciate it. Oh, dog walker. Yeah, that's the term. Gonna go walk her dog. Dava is, like, a character I'm really fascinated by. Like, I am definitely gonna have to do lore videos on her in the future. Let's go! Shining Force was great training for harder ones like Final Fantasy Tactics, Tactics Ogre, Triangle Strategy, and the like. I am so excited to play pretty much all of those. I have not, but I've heard captains talk about Tactics Ogre a lot. I've been fascinated by Triangle Strategy since it came out, and then Tactics obviously is like the biggest shadow hanging over the channel that I need to play. The combination of high RNG, lack of information presented to the player, and very limited tools for managing risk mean that SF's mechanics really only work when the fights are really easy. I mean, this one's pretty hard at this point, and I'm still trucking. Alright, attack wore off, I gotta remember that. Like, there's a little bit RNG here. But, like, if she Dava Breaths twice, which it seems like she doesn't want to do, she might be hard-coded not to, is kind of what it feels like. Can you imagine if I accidentally egressed right now? I'd scream. Actually, what happens if you... I might peek at the end. What happens if you do egress on this battle? Welcome in, Melvin! Hello, chat, how's everyone doing? And how come Dava has so much hit points to get defeated? It's a lot. Dava really might be the strongest, like, Shining Force character. Oh! I just realized they didn't load her portrait in. I wonder why that is. Let's go! Over 100 damage in 1 round. Let's go. Like, fights where you're not really thinking just isn't a great genre fit, IMO. Shining Force is carried by its charm and audiovisual presentation. I mean, like I said, I think it can work when it's hard, because SF3 had some hard fights, and this is pretty hard, and this is still working for me. Would it work in a permadeath run? Not sure. But it's working for me right now. Do you have 20? Yeah. Let's get Nick in there. I want him to be a part of this before it ends. Huge. One more hit. I think that's GG. Let's go. And thus, Shining Force CD is defeated. Pretty sure a store is there if you egress. I maybe should have done that. Oh, it's time to get up. Open your eyes. Is this the kingly bedroom? Good morning, Nick. You ever slept again? It was all just a dream, huh? Not even a question of canon. Look outside the window. What a beautiful day. By the way, Nick, do you know what day today is? Is it Museum Day? Nick took a small box and handed it to Mayfair. No, it's not my birthday. Today is the day to go to the museum with your friends, isn't it? Nick, please change the clothes to go out. No, don't make me go. I return this to you. I have no idea what it is, but please keep it. What'd she give him? Shining Force CD, Burning Staff. What is this animation? Oh, cool! It's all the developers. That's awesome. That's hilarious. Thank you for all the congrats. This game was everything that I wanted it to be. It really was. What a great entry to the series. I don't know how it's going to rank, ultimately. I'm going to have to, when I get done with Final Conflict, I'm going to have to rank them all. But this was absolutely awesome. And I'm really happy that we beat, by the skin of our teeth, we beat the, that's such a small animation, or small sprite. I'm really happy that we beat CD, the museum, on our first try. Not by much, but we made it. Girl asks what day it is, you panic and assume it's her birthday. Relatable. It really is. Hey, it's the car from Shining Wisdom. So, I guess I should say what's next, huh? Next! I know we want to do Final Conflict. I do too. But I think before we do Final Conflict, I want to revisit my childhood favorite story one more time. We are going to try to Iron Man it. If we screw it up, we'll probably keep going to keep on pace. But next for the channel is Resurrection of the Dark Dragon. We're going to take it back to where it all started. And then when we finish that, it will be time for the Final Conflict. I hope y'all are cool with that. It also is that I'm just not sure where else I'm going to fit Resurrection in. It would feel kind of lame to do Final Conflict and then turn around and do Resurrection. But I feel like Resurrection very naturally kind of will lead into Final Conflict. So, no need to be sad, like I said. We're doing that, and then we've still got tons more Shining Force after that. The series really has a lot of games. Shining Force CD, the very end. Oh. That's so cute. So I played Resurrection as a kid, but it has been maybe 20 years. It's been a really long time. So I don't remember a lot of the plot, the lore implications. I don't really remember what happens. This channel keeps delivering for me personally. Well, I'm glad. It will keep doing that if you're super into Shining Force stuff. Welcome in, Shining Force World. Finally the good SF1. Ooh, that's a spicy take. Return of the Dark Dragon will definitely be... Or Resurrection will definitely be a nice story refresher leading into Final Conflict. I'm glad that y'all think so. Everything I know about Resurrection bothers me too, though. More chance for me to team up with Taya. Yeah, some of the changes I think are really cool. Some of them, not so much. I didn't remember any of the secret, mechanical changes that they made. But Taya told me about some of them, and yeah, they seem very strange. What if there's a secret battle if we wait on the screen for 5 minutes? There's a reason I'm sitting here. I would assume there's not, but, like, genuinely almost every Shining game has put something at the end of the credits. And I feel like they already did in this. I don't remember if they did or not. But I'm like, I don't know. Y'all can tell me if there's nothing. But also, we thought there was nothing for Shining Force 3, and there totally is if you sit and wait long enough. So, if y'all play that, be apprised of that. Return of the Dark Dragon is actually a better subtitle. Resurrection of the Dark Dragon is such a mouthful. Like, I kind of don't like it. And it's of the Dark Dragon, not just Dark Dragon. It's very weird. And even when I was a kid, I'll explain this again next week, but I thought that it was a sequel? Because I didn't have easy access to the internet back then. So, I got it for my birthday, and I don't have the box. I never had the box. I just saw it in, like, a used game store, and I was like, there's a Shining Force game for the Game Boy? I really want that. So, my grandma got it for me for my birthday, and I put it in and was really surprised that it was the same game. It's not Delivery, it's Deny Hill. The end credits battle for this one is the all low-level enemies from the games, goblins, gizmos. That would be funny. Is the very end. I would bet there is. I don't know. Oh, I didn't push anything. Okay, no, it's just taking us back. All right. Shining Force, the original. I love Henri because of her powerful magic spells. I love her freezing magic and her bolt magic. Henri's awesome. And this game was awesome. I absolutely adored this, but it is time, I guess, for the late block. So, I'm gonna try to raid into myself again.
With the Max and the Shining Force.
We're gonna see how that works. I will never count Resurrection as canon, though. Bug assassins and red stuffed animals with playing cards. I count parts of it as canon. When we play it, we're going to talk about that. There's some parts that I wonder about. But
the victors return to their normal lives.
So here's what I'm going to do.
Vowing for renewed peace.
I hope y'all will stick around for at least a little bit of late block.
Some disappeared. Some
let me get the link.
And some returned to their homes and families.
Okay, I've made it public here. And I'm going to post the link. Oh, no rankings? We could maybe do a ranking real fast.
And Anne Reed returned to her kingdom as the Queen of Guardian.
CD.
With help from Ken, Luke, and Lo, they rebuilt the kingdom. From the ashes.
Let me see if one already exists. I kind of assumed it wouldn't.
The story begins.
It does exist. Okay. Yeah, we'll do rankings real fast if y'all want it. Rankings would be fun. Okay, we'll do rankings. I don't mind that at all. Let me get some background music here. I'm gonna be a butt. And I'm gonna do the Shining Force 2 Symphony arrangement I was talking about earlier. And yeah, we'll do some rankings. I didn't realize that y'all liked the rankings so much, honestly. Also, the intro to that game. So nice. So nice. SF1 guitar. Okay, if y'all want the guitar background, we can do that first. I'm good with that. Shining Force. Our metal guitar medley. Yeah. From Connor Ingstrom Music. Yeah, it's so good. Let me make sure the audio here is alright. Yeah, that looks okay. And let's get my monitor here. Here's our rankings. Oh, I also need to re-pull up chat. There we go. Keels over and dies as the SF2 music leeches into my blood. Well, the chat has spoken, and so we're not doing that to start, at least. Alright. So, how do we want to do this? Let's do S, A, B, C. Yeah, we'll get D and we'll get F. That's how I prefer to do it. Oh, no. Keep that whatever color. I don't care. I want to make the F red. There we go. Alright. So, we'll do the... Let's see, do we want to start with objective or subjective? D for Donhort, F for Fathard. Should be F for Donhort, though. I hated Donhort. We'll start with, like, objective, I think. And I'll just kind of go in order. Apis finally came online. He's gonna be between A and B. It took a lot to get him online, so I'll keep him as B for now. I might just go in terms of, like, how I'm thinking about them. Sig was really important to the early game. C for Chaz. Then we'd all forget. I mean, he's probably perfect for C tier. He's fine. I'm glad you came around to hating Donhort. You tried to defy it for so long. I'm happy to defy, like, popular opinion. It just was that he was kind of insufferable. And I'm not gonna just lie. Like, he was actually bad. Let me know if the music is too loud, by the way. But yeah, Sig was really important for the early game. And then, like, especially after Cray came online, Sig really just tanks. He's not a great healer, and he's not a great damage dealer. He just kind of fell off, so I can't put him at D, because without him, the early game would be really hard. But yeah, he just drops off. I'm gonna kind of go, like I said, in random order. Mei, I'm sorry, F tier. Cool unit. Mages are booty in this game. Absolute booty. Randolph, absolute great unit. Really different than Apis. Like, A or S for sure. I'm not gonna just lie. Guy who thought Pen was functional. Pen is functional, especially if you give him the orb. He has a AoE that he can throw out. Like, he's the most usable joke character, honestly. Sig is the name of one of my childhood best friends, and Gong's nephew. Wish he didn't suck so bad. Yeah, he's not good. I'll put Randolph in A tier for now. But yeah, we'll wait to move him up to S. Domingo, slightly better by being a flying caster, but only just. He is so much worse than his Shining Force 1 counterpart. Like, it's not even funny. He's not tanky. He's pretty rough. Heresy, Don Hort is life, unless it's scenario 2, and then he needs to leave the party ASAP. I feel like the bottom tier is going to be mostly mages hanging out with Gaian. Gaian was fine. Gaian, honestly, was, like, probably top of C tier. He ended up with a lot of move on the maps that gave him, the maps that had a lot of terrain, like the forests and mountains and stuff. He was able to move around in that, so he actually was pretty useful for a couple of maps. And then he did middling damage. I say mid, not as, like, a diss. Not like, because people now use mid to mean bad, and I'm like, when I say mid, I mean mid. Middle of the pack, he's okay. He's not terrible, he's not great, he's like the perfect middle of the pack unit. You'd think Sig and Gong were blood related with how much he sucked. Gong is fine, I think. He's also not great, but he's okay. Gaian belongs in C tier, since C stands for bear. He doesn't know what race he is, that's fine. He can be like the Rachel Dolezal of the Shining world. He thinks that he's a bear man. He doesn't know he's a cat, but he is. Luke, was super cool to see you again. Availability matters to me. Luke's availability, booty. Like half of them out. And maybe he'd hit D if his stats, like, reflected that he's there for half a map, but they really don't. He's not good. Randolph, best knight in all of Shining Force? Well, maybe besides Arthur, but you don't have to baby Randolph. I don't think Randolph is the best knight in all of Shining Force. I think Pell is better than Randolph, honestly. Who else? Like, several of the Shining Force 3 ones might be better. Gong gets aura and has a cool looking promo. Low does not by comparison. Nobody even levels low high enough to know. Isha, same problem. I'll probably put Luke at top of F because he can at least do some damage in the final battle, but Isha, same problem. Ismay, just mage, not good. I guess we can just do that now, huh? Where is she? Yeah, Wendy. Better availability, same problem. Like, I want to bump her to D for the early game, but Blaze in this doing 6 instead of 7, it matters a lot. Like, you would think that the 1 point damage wouldn't make that much of a difference, but it really does. 7 is a much better baseline for Blaze, because it really makes sure... The main difference is, in early game, if you're doing 7 to an enemy with low HP, that she pretty much sets up a kill for somebody else. In the early game, I felt like we were still having to hit 2 more times with her doing 6. So, just really bad. Pell is the GOAT Centaur. He really is. He just shows up and is great. Dentari's, yeah, in 3 is also really good. Him and Campbell both. Gong had better, has to be in the bottom half, as even clerics like Lo and Chris are better because they have more MP and get good weapons as parts of the game. Blaze was always 6. I swear. Yeah, I think Ty is right. Blaze in SF1 is a roll between 6 and 7 and is frequently 7. Most of the time in SF1 when I'm playing the early maps, it does 7. I've seen it do 6 like a handful of times, but like, it mostly does 7, in my experience, from the early stuff. I've played SF1 a bunch. Like, I know you're probably technically correct, But just in my subjective experience, it's rolled 7 for me a lot more. Blaze has a power of 8, and due to the damage rolls in SF1, it ranges from 6 to 7. If you're weak to it, it's 7 to 8. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Mayfair required a lot of grinding, and then came online, kind of the same as Apis. Being a healer, she had more utility, so I'll put her at top of B. It's a little weird that then for the second game, she's Nova. She's in the Nova slot, because, or Astral slot, because she did really come online, and, like, it's fine with Nova, because you're like, oh, he's not a fighter. And then Astral, it's like, okay, you're an old man. But it's Mayfair, it's like, we see you do fine in combat, and then you just decide to stop. 6-7 meme detected, disliking stream. I have to. I'm gonna watch every Shining Force playthrough and will kowtow if incorrect, but in my experience, it's always 6 and less weak. I don't know. It might be that we just got very different rolls. I might have been really lucky. It's happened in a couple games for me. Just go cast Blaze 3 times in Battle 1. We could. I could speedrun to get there. But we're gonna at least finish rankings. Roos. I don't know if that surprises anybody. Roos carried us in the endgame. Was an absolutely fantastic unit all the way around. Did his father proud. I think he's better than Lug, honestly. And it's kind of funny to see Lug down here at F tier and Roos at the S tier. Roos just is absolutely amazing. Give me just a second to swap the music here. Such a good song. Alright. Okay. Goblins might be weak to Blaze 1. They may, but if, like... if all the early enemies are, then... what difference, what difference does it make? A Hellcat's gonna go check for us. Oh, or watch Chris do it. The main SF1 playthrough I have on the channel is a mod. It's Legacy of the Ancients, but it doesn't rework most of the mechanics. Luke got that Boruto's dad debuff. Yeah, a little bit. I think he was mostly here just for a hit of nostalgia, which I'm not complaining. Claude, best Birdman in the series, honestly. Did heavy damage, was really, really good, could take a hit. What more can you ask for? And he flies. Like, it was so nice to have a Birdman that was capable and competent. Not used to it at all. Shade, pretty good archer. I'm gonna put Shade in A. He doesn't do the most damage, but he outranges a lot of the final bosses. So, again, can't really complain. I don't even remember this one's name. But he was not as good as Shade. I think top of B. The range, just peppering enemies and stuff, it's nice to have. Goblins have no weakness or resistance. I don't know. I always roll 7 on them. I have SF1 on my Xbox, 360, Switch, and GBA, Genesis, and Dreamcast. I've got a lot of copies of it, too. I've got it on Steam, Switch, I think Wii, GBA. Like, I buy it on everything I can. I've got it on disc. I showed it earlier. I've got it, my copy sitting right here. The second archer is Chester. Ah, thank you. Yes. Yeah, Chester was just worse Shade, but, like, that's not saying too much. They made archers decent here. Shriek, really cool character. He's like Claude, but I think slightly worse. But that's pretty good. You know, I think he might be... I think Randolph is a little bit better. But, like, excellent Birdman as well. We really cannot complain. It's SF2 that steals the names from Gaiden, right? So, SF2, that's not most of their names either. So, in terms of localization, I think yes. But, like, it doesn't really mean a whole lot. Like, when that's not any of their real names. You're definitely right about this version of the music being better. I told you. It's a really good arrangement of it. I made the mistake of buying it on mobile. Oh, I forgot! Yeah, I do have it on mobile. I assumed if you buy it, you could play it offline. You can't with the free download, but no, can't play in airplane mode. Total waste of money, made me mad. Can you not? I thought my version I could, but I've got the version that's 1, 2, and In the Darkness on my phone. Graham, took me a second to come up with his name. Graham is okay. He also outranges a lot of stuff if you put the work in. I think he's probably realistically here. He fell off for me, but if I put effort into grinding him up, I think he would have been more of a contender. I don't know that he would have been as good as Shade, but if you're outranging the bosses and stuff and we can kill Eom faster, it doesn't totally matter. That would have been really useful to have. Same with Stock. Stock fell off for me. He probably belongs... I think people said he was better. So I'd probably put him here. Same kind of deal. I think he does more damage than Graham from what I've read. Just outranging everybody, it is nice. So he gets a little bit of a pass, not doing the most damage. Eric started to fall off for me, and then I forget, it might have been Taya that said, like, him and Dawn really do come online if you just push through. They're not quite as bad as you think. And I think that was very true. The C tier is getting pretty stacked. Eric ended up pretty meh, actually, especially at the end there. He was not dealing a lot of damage. I might drop him lower. And I think Dawn is right with him. They were about even. Oops. There she is. I can put her slightly ahead. I think that these two places are kind of interchangeable. They both were just very meh by the end. You know, I get that maybe they're the Ken and May archetype, if that is indeed a shining archetype. I haven't decided yet. She is not nearly as good as May. May, to me, can tank hits and deal damage, and she could sort of tank hits, not very well, and could not deal that much damage, so, Surprised to see Mayfair in B. Did she just fall off super hard? Because she was kind of nuts in the streams I was watching. Mayfair, the main thing is that I had to grind her up because they gave her to us really low leveled. So in that, like, indoor kind of ruins style map, I ended up having to grind her for a little while, so that's kind of what I'm holding against her. She's got some utility as a healer, regardless, but it's not enough to move her into, like, A or anything. And if I have to put that much work into a character, they just can't be that high. Amigo was super cool. Like, ended up being a really lame healer. Does not have the MP to do a whole lot. More of a novelty, I think, than an actual useful healer. Like, he just didn't work out the best. Or she. I don't know if it's a man or a woman. Not really sure. Keqing. I don't even really know how good this guy is. Y'all need to probably help me with how he's ranked. I dropped him immediately, him and Gates both, because they were both so boring as characters. I think it's cool that they exist in the, like, I appreciate that they're I feel like their presence in the story fleshes out Cyprus a little bit and, like, what the Guardiana forces look like. Because I think it was that Kashing was part of the Cyprus Guard or something, and then Gates was from Guardiana. So I'm like, oh, Guardiana did end up with more warriors after the events of SF1 that were capable. So I think it's cool that they're there, but they also felt very placeholdery, like, this is your pre-promoted units. They don't have a whole lot to say, here you go. So they kind of just dropped. Presumably male if using the masculine amigo. Ah, okay. Smart. But also, is that his real name? Dunno. Non-monk healers across Gaiden are kind of funky / need help. They kind of are. I guess we can talk about Sarah. Got really good. Her having aura was absolutely massive. Especially, like... I mean, I probably need to put her higher. She really kept us going in those later maps. I think I'm putting her there for now. Like, she was just too good. The wiki says female. The Shining Force wiki doesn't know what's going on with games that aren't Shining Force 1 and 2, and even then it's questionable, unfortunately. Like, I appreciate you checking, but the wiki leaves a lot to be desired. Just go read the article on elves if you need if you need something to reinforce that. I was so mad when someone kind of spoiled the Amigo reveal. Yeah, it's whatever though, what you gonna do? This is another character. I don't remember his name even. I don't know if he's good. He goes in C right next to these two. Because, like, I just don't even remember his name. We dropped him immediately as well. Deanna. I really like Deanna. He's really cool. Yeah. Deanna's not... As far as pro tags go, he was tanking a lot in Book 2, but man, does he drop off. He just isn't dealing the damage that I need by the end. He's not tanking the best. Who is that? Road, thank you. Yeah, Road. Is he good? Should he be at the bottom of C? I don't know. Y'all tell me. That's why I'm working on a new SF wiki. Let me know if you want help with that. Because we need one. I've been thinking about doing it as well. It's one of my favorite inside jokes now, and at my age. Ugh. Yeah, but the Elf article tells you a lot about... I don't know who wrote those entries, and, like, no shade to them, because, like, you did it, you know? You cared enough to do it, but... Jaha. I mean, he's our tank for a lot of the game. His availability is great. I don't think he's quite as good as Roos, but I'm pretty comfortable with A. Pretty good. Not quite as good by the end, but still a really solid tank for most of the game. Especially Book 3. Let's see. Elmer Fudd here, Slade. I mean, another decent healer. Better availability than Mayfair, if I remember correctly. Having Aura, huge. I think Apis is getting pushed down to C. At this point. Better availability, Aura caster. What can you say? Welcome in, Sampa! Hi, did you get the Android email? I sent you the Chronicle games. Yes, I think I already have them. I don't remember. I really appreciate that. The link, it's not a file, it's a link. And the link is from a website that's really sketch. So I greatly appreciate it. I'm nervous to download that, I'm gonna be honest, but I think I have them. Did Slade not have Aura? I didn't remember that. Okay, he goes down one. Nobody has a Riz. It's in Japanese. It's fine if you'll send me games in Japanese. The future of the Shining Let's Plays on here, some of them are going to be in Japanese, and we're just going to have to live with that. I've got plans for how to deal with it, but email doesn't allow you to send files. If you use Gmail, it does, because it'll send it as a Google Drive link, and you can send bigger files. Let me see here. Luke. I mean, Luke was insane. Good availability, healer, tank, damage dealer. Luke does everything. Luke is great. Luke is one of the best healers in the franchise. He would be maybe the best if magic scaled with your level and stats, and if he had more MP. He doesn't, so he's not quite there, but he's definitely upper tier. As long as the game has cool sprites, I don't care about language, to be honest. I will always give y'all the plot of a game I'm playing. It's just gonna look weird, and we're gonna have to do some things to make that happen in some of them. But I'm down for that. Cray started falling off, and then y'all were like, no, stick with him. Trust. He's, like, really good. So I would have originally put him in C for availability and, like, being a good healer, or maybe B. Cray ended up taking hits. He was a worse Luke. Taking hits, dealing damage, healing. Absolutely great healer. Fantastic unit. Natasha. Another. I want to put her here. Another one. Sadly. Like, just not good. What is the elf wiki? I gotta see this. Okay, I'll show y'all for a second. Hang on. I can show you. Give me 2 seconds. I'll pull it up. Alright. Coming to you straight from the Shining Force wiki. In the earlier games of the series, elves are instantly recognizable by their slender, underdeveloped bodies. Even males have little to no musculature, and females have very small breasts. Their faces and extremities also tend to be lean and narrow. These defining traits were largely done away with in Shining Force 3 Scenario 1, God Warrior of the Kingdom, and Shining Force 3 Scenario 2, Target, Child of God. In these games, the series gradually adopted an overt hentai influence in the character designs, with most of the female characters plainly intended for sex appeal. To accommodate this, female elves were given human-sized or even exceptionally large breasts, and a shirtless male elf displaying a hefty amount of muscle was introduced. After Shining Force 3 Scenario 3, the games of the series are set in alternate universes from the earlier games, one where elves with human proportions are apparently normal. The appearance of these bulked-up elves in Shining Force 3 scenarios, however, has no explanation in context to the game world. It is tempting to suppose that they are the result of elves breeding with humans and dwarves. But Shining Force 3 elves have their race listed as elf rather than half-elf, elf/dwarf, or any such thing. Yeah. Like, it's very weird. I don't know why, like, a lot of this is just not crew, either. And then to even have, like, you know, habitat varies, eye color varies, all varies, unusual features. Lanky, underdeveloped bodies, I'm like, that is just so not my interpretation of the elves. Very, very strange. I don't know who wrote this, but odd. It's certainly one of the articles for all times. What in the chat GPT? I don't think it's chat GPT. Hopefully this never gets changed, as compromised as this is. It's really funny. But yeah, I am like... I don't know, I just don't agree. Like, a lot of the characters in early Shining Force are a little bit scrawny. Like, it's just, I think, kind of how they're drawn. It's part of, Tamaki's, like, art style. The obsession with them being underdeveloped is uncomfortable. It is very weird. It's kind of like, God, what is the word? Anytime somebody is, like, describes someone else's, like, skin as supple, I just kind of am like... I kind of hate it. I'm just like, ew. Like, it's just a weird descriptor. And there's no way for you to use it and have it not come across as weird. At least we've immortalized it here if it does get changed. Very true. I try to do that sometimes. I would say thoughts, but I'll get in trouble. I'll just go along with what Taya said. Yeah. It's very strange. Alright, let's do Hanzo. Hanzo... decent. I think he's better than, like, Deanna. I put him, you know, he fought Yom at the end. And I trusted him to do that. So I'm like, eh. Could do spells. Kinda nice. Musashi, I think, is just slightly worse. Did a little more damage, but didn't have the spell utility. And then finally, Nick. Nick. I think he's a little bit better than Deanna. But just. He tanks for most of his game. But then, yeah, by the end, he kind of fell off, too. I think I would put Nick there. I don't know, maybe he should be above Shade. I think he contributes more to the game overall than Shade does. But some of those, like, battles at the end, Sarah really carries. We could not have done the end without Sarah. Could we have done the end without Nick? Yes. Yes, we could have. We basically did. Because if he dies, I think it's back to, you know, game over. So. Welcome in, Coco! It's tier list time? It is tier list time. Looking at Nick's portrait here again, I've been meaning to mention, it's really strange for me how much his portrait he uses for book 2 looks a lot like Mars. I was thinking that. I was actually thinking about him earlier today. I'm thinking about Shining Force a lot during my day. And I was picturing Mars's face with blonde hair, and then I was like, no. And then I started thinking about it, and I was like, no, they do look... Maybe they do look really similar. They have very similar portraits. You have zero knowledge about Final Conflict? I know Max is in it, and I know it's kind of the connector between Shining Force 1 and 2. And that's really about it. I assume more of the characters come back. I've avoided spoilers for Final Conflict very well. So I'm really excited to get to it. I thought you'd have Nick higher. You seem to really love him. This is my objective tier list. This is how good I think the characters are. We're going to do subjective here in a second. And that's going to change it. I do really like Nick. I think by the end of this, I do think Randolph does get kicked up to S. He just does enough damage. His availability is not quite as good at Cray, or quite as good as Cray, so he's slightly lower, but only just. He also carried us through an endgame, and ended up being an absolutely fantastic unit. I feel bad that I only have Domingo on the D tier. I don't know if these guys are properly placed. Nobody really has any thoughts about them, is what it seems like. So, eh. We should add the low C tier dwarves to D. Okay, I mean, I'm down. Domingo, like, I'll put higher. I did not use these guys, so I don't fully know. They just were very eh as characters, but... Alright, that is, I think, the objective tier list I have for Shining Force CD. Who is the green dwarf? A couple people said that. They're both green dwarves, but yeah, this one's Gates, this one's Road. Yeah, neither is super memorable. Filler character to the max. All three of them felt like that to me. Alright, let's reset real quick, and we're gonna do the subjective version. No, I don't want to make an account on Tiermaker. Okay. Subjectively, I already said he's one of my favorites. Shriek is super cool. Love his design. Love that he's a good bird man. Top tier. Oh, I gotta redo my... B. C. D. Oh, whoops. S. A. B. C. D. Add row below. F for filler. There we go. Yeah, I fixed it. Can't wait to see your Gales of Nieli tier list in 5 years. It won't take me that long. It definitely will not take me that long. Let me check on our music here. Oh, this one's just super quiet for a long time. There we go. Okay. Whenever I'm listening to this one, like, in the car or something, it always catches me off guard because it just, like, kicks in. So I just skipped to that bit. It's hilarious to me how Road and Gates look like the same character done by two different artists. They really do. And, like... I mean, we can probably just go ahead and, like... I like Gates more. But yeah, they very much are. Like... I like these two more than Road. Road, to me, is extra forgettable. You being Lug's son is really cool, and being a prominent member of the Force, at least A. Amigo is really cool as another Domingo. I really like knowing that, like, Domingo is not a one-off. This is an actual Shining race. There's more out there. Pretty neat. All the old bearded men. I mean, Randolph is going to be higher. He's got a beard. Randolph, I didn't think was that cool, unfortunately. I'll put him in C for now. We'll see if he goes up. Ken's son. I really wanted him to be better than Ken. And he was, but he was still ultimately mid. He goes in C. You're related to Teo and Diane. Kinda neat. A little bit of a nostalgia hit. But kinda B for me. Claude. I mean, being a good Birdman, super cool. Really cool to have one in the series that actually is good. Was really fun to play with. I like him. Cray, like I said, actually really ended up enjoying Cray. It's cool to me. One of the only characters I've seen that is missing an eye and doesn't have, like, an eye patch. I don't think I've ever seen that in a game. I think Chester is. I could be wrong. But, I don't know. I didn't know. No, it's Wendy. Wendy is the one that's related, I think. I don't remember. I wanted to read it out of the world books, but somebody shouted that out, so I'm like, meh. I don't know. If it's Wendy, I think it was Wendy. I'll do that. Chester can go down to see. Kind of cool. Does not live up to the family lineage there. Teo, good to the end of the game. Diane, moderate to the end of the game. Wendy is their sister. Okay. Thank you for the correction. Yeah. Gives her some bonus points. Not as cool, though. Not as good as her siblings. Dang, it was cool to see Musashi again. Like, I'm gonna put him and Hanzo together. Hanzo goes slightly higher because, Teo and Diane are sisters, according to some of the world books. If I recall correctly. I knew something about that, but I didn't fully know. But yeah, Hanzo, I like him here. Hanzo is really important because, as Taya pointed out, he is part of what links the timeline together. Because, he is mentioned in Holy Ark by name. And so, the developer who said that Holy Ark and Shining Force 3 take place like 1,000 years or something, or way later after the original set of games, Hanzo very much shows that that's not correct. So, and part of that is that he's in this game. That it could be... The argument is that, like, well, it's a ninja named Hanzo. Like, that's a very common ninja name in Japan. So, maybe it's not the same guy. But the fact that we have the same guy showing up in at least 2 games in the series, and maybe he's in Final Conflict, I don't know. But at that point, even just him being in 2 games definitely indicates that it's probably the same guy. From the Shining Force 1 World Book, Teo's personality is the exact opposite of Henri's. She is a gentle type who feels everything very deeply. She is an extremely polite person as well. Her personality is also the exact opposite of her elder sister, Diane, who joins the Force later. It's one of the many SF1 things that's just in the World Books, which I really need to go read. We're going to do a lot of that after Final Conflict. We're going to really do some lore deep dives, so I hope y'all are ready for that. Graham, kind of lame, was meh. You know, I probably would do that. I think these guys were cooler than both of them, like, by a decent margin, because I think they add to the world building. I don't think these two do. Let's see. Shade. Another Elven Archer. Liked him slightly more. Hans's son. I like that Hans's son, like, is better than Hans. I might put him here. Might do that, because he didn't let me down. Is there any theory that Hanzo is the legendary ninjas the Yashas and good ninjas refer to in SF3? Maybe? I'm not sure. It's not quite as explicit as the Holy Ark thing is, though, I don't think. And there's 2 names. The Holy Ark villagers mention 2 ninjas. One is Hanzo. The other one might be a Final Conflict thing. I don't remember. At the time, I had not played Gaiden, so I didn't know who the other one mentioned was. Not really sure. Oh yeah, in SF3, yeah, Yasha, I believe, does talk about Rhodey, which is the ninja from Holy Ark. Yeah, thank you for that. Maybe it's a retcon, maybe it's a fact. There's pretty much 0 character focus in SF1, but it's a first-party world book info from the time period, so it was retconned in prior to SF2. Yeah. Graham is the whole reason for chapters 1 and 2. Oh yeah, he steals the freaking sword. The Sword of Heija. Yeah, he's annoying. I did not like chapters 1 and 2 of book 2, honestly. The battles were well designed, like I had fun with it, but the plot was just so like, eh. He gets F tier. Did not like him. Domingo, good to see you again, buddy. Really enjoyed Domingo being back, even if he's a lot worse. It's not that he's filler. I can delete F for filler if you want. I just really didn't like him. And it's pretty rare that I actively dislike a character in a Shining game. Meh. Pretty meh. Who else was super meh? Stock. Meh. Slade. Meh. Like, just didn't care about these people. Isha. Better than you. Still kind of meh. Wendy. Eh. More like F for failure. I like those trainer units in Fire Emblem that you get at the beginning of Fire Emblem games and are way ahead in level. Oh, the Jagan is the archetype is called Jagan because the very first one from Fire Emblem 1 is Jagan. And usually they have bad growths. That's like also a hallmark, but then, you know, Seth doesn't, Titania doesn't, Frederick doesn't, so I don't know if that's going to continue. I forget the name of the guy in Engage. I don't know. I benched him, so I don't know if he had bad growths, but Slade chases all the young girls. And that can be funny. Like, I don't hate that character archetype the way that some people do. It just, eh. He was just kind of eh. I guess, like, that gives him slightly more. I could put him there. That made him more interesting than Stock, but, like, that much. Sig being Gong's nephew, kind of cool. I think he's a neat character. It's cool to have another SF1 nostalgia tie-in, even if he's not very good. Vander. Yeah, Vander's problem isn't necessarily his growths, but the fact that he doesn't earn EXP till halfway through the game. Ah, yes. That does make sense. He was kind of eh to me as well. His bases are too bad for his level. It kind of seemed that way. Sarah, kind of interesting character. Not as much as some of the others. She's very middle of the road to me. Eric, kind of annoying. Jaha redeems himself more because he's like a stat wall for defense and stuff and has decent priority. Eric just kind of was annoying. Let me think. Where do I want to put Jaha? I'll put Jaha in B. It was kind of interesting that, like, the contrast between Jaha's attitude and the fact he was quite dependable was kind of interesting. So I liked him more. Luke was the third member of their crew. Luke was really fun to use, honestly. Whipping around the staff and stuff. Do I like him more than... I might like him more than Claude. Luke, it's nostalgia bait. Was very cool to see him again. Like, honestly, kind of a highlight. him coming in and throwing us the sword of Heija, like, it was cool. Cool moment. That's fully nostalgia bias. Don't care. Neats. You know, I first played SF1 20 years ago. This takes place 20 years later. To see Luke come back, even just at the end. Neat. Gaian. I liked Gaian. Kinda cool. Expands the universe again as a bear man, I guess. I don't want a sad song. Hold up. Which one is this? I want this one. I don't know that I do. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna kill that for a minute, and there is also a Symphonic Suite version of Shining Force CD. So we're gonna use that. There we go. Fan service is cool when it actually hits. It is. I don't hate fan service. It just has to be earned. And this felt earned. I had to go check. The names mentioned in Far East Village were Hanzo and Kojiro. Okay, I don't know Kojiro yet. I appreciate you going to check for me. Vander is in Engage, and there's just no coming back from that. I didn't love many of the Engage characters, but all I want is us to play is the Shining Wisdom intro with the announcer. We'll do it at the end here. Mayfair, interesting character. I'm gonna put her here. I really thought there was gonna be some odd-eye relation by the fact that her eyes are closed. It's kind of weird that that's a plot point and then it just never gets brought up again, and then she just opens her eyes later. I don't know if she, like, got over it. I don't really know. Very strange, but kind of an interesting character. That leaves us with these three. I don't know what to make of Natasha yet. I'm gonna have to, like, review the footage and stuff. I know some of y'all consider her to be a leader of the Shining Force. I don't know that I do. Like, she leads the Deanna Force for half of it, for like 2 maps. She has egress, and she's a game over condition for those 2 maps. That's pretty interesting. I think I'll put her here just on that fact. It's very weird. I don't know that I consider her a leader of the Shining Force the way I do the other pro tags. But she's in this weird middle ground that I don't know that a single other character in the series occupies. Maybe she's there with, like, Mars or something that I'm like, I don't know if Mars, like, I don't know what to make of, like, Hero, Mars, and Arthur. The heroes of, like, the off titles. Because I'm like, they're not Shining Force leaders. They are kind of pro tags. What does that mean of them? I'm not entirely sure yet. When I do my lore deep dives and stuff, I'm gonna talk about that a lot more and figure out my thoughts on that. But for now, she's an interesting anomaly. She's also Deanna's wife, which holds weight. True. Deanna is weird as well. Because Deanna gets really sidelined. He's Hyndel's brother, and it seems like was sent by Hyndel to try and muster the forces of Cyprus to come fight Eon, which is really weird that it happens twice. That, like, we need this outside kind of enemy force to come, like, rally the troops. I don't know why they let him run the show. Like, it's just kind of weird. I'm gonna swap the music again. Oh, no, there it goes. Okay, I was like, I don't want it, like, I'm not trying to be sad. But Deanna gets really sidelined, especially at the end of book 2, which should be, like, his triumphant moment. It feels like his triumphant moment is passing Nick the Sword of Haja. But he doesn't even do that, Luke does. So, it's just kind of weird. Night, Sinister! Thanks for hanging out. Deanna's armor is nice. I think I'm gonna put him in S because I find him really fascinating, and his place in the story really fascinating. Like, I would never write a protag. His mission is, like, essentially a fetch quest, almost. To bring the sword to Nick. It's very strange. Like, no, I guess he does hand it to him at the end. Luke is book 1. But it's just weird that, like, I feel like his climactic moment of fighting Eom is sort of taken from him by Nick. He is another shining protag that I'm like... I don't know what the shining force, in quotes, means to me. I've talked a lot about, is this a holy force that is, like, blessed, that really matters? At the beginning of book 1 with Nick, it feels like it's more of, like, him and Roose sort of rally the troops together, under the moniker of Shining Force, because it's what their parents used. I don't know if I consider them a Shining Force in the same way that I do their parents. It feels more like a thing for morale. Because their parents are, like, on a holy mission to stop Dark Soul. They're just on a mission to reclaim the crown for Nick, ultimately. Which is a lot less serious. We'll catch Thorn of Waterloo on the VOD. It's gonna be special, so I hope you enjoy it. And then Nick is also a weird one. Because Nick... I still don't know why he gets to be the leader of the new Shining Force. I feel like it should have been Roose. They don't know Nick's lineage. So, like, if he showed up and was like, I'm the Prince of Cyprus, and I'm going to lead you guys to retake my homeland, that's a very SRPG plot. But the fact that they don't know who he is tells me he was just some guy that showed up in Guardiana one day and was like, hey, I am gonna lead you. You may not know me, but I will be your fearless leader. And Roose, Apis, you know, they're all like, Wendy, they're all like, yeah, sure. Why would we not go for that? And I'm like, why would you? In Japanese, Nick says he's from Prompt. Okay. That's really interesting. Why? Like, what does he do? That helps, because it makes sense for him to say not Cyprus, but... I think he goes here. I'm really deciding, do I want to... Shriek was just cool. I like the colors. You know. There's times you just latch onto that one character. I guess he lies. Like, I'm sure he does. But, like, what was the lie that would supersede somebody like Luke's son taking over? Or Hans's son? Or Teo's sister? You know, there's just so many people that are more qualified, I think, to lead the Shining Force. Like, I'm just not sure what made them trust his authority. Or trust in him as a leader. It's a little strange. Welcome back, Melvin. I'm still here, was helping my sister making dinner. Well, that's a sweet thing to do. What'd you make? Basically, I'm just wrestling with myself of, like, do I put Roose and Hanzo in S tier? If I do, S tier might have a few too many characters. Hanzo being so important to the timeline, I think I have to. Wasn't it hinted at that Nick reminds the old Shining Force of someone? Maybe? I think, but like, I don't know what that means. I guess maybe I'll find out in Final Conflict that he's Max's long-lost son or something, but that would be quite strange. I don't know. I guess I'll find out. Obviously, they trusted him because he could cast Egress. I mean, the meta reason, yeah, it's kind of what it feels like. Those characters looks great lined up like that. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. Can scroll a little to make it look better. There we go. Yeah, I think this is my subjective Shining Force CD tier list. This is how much I liked the characters. Overall, really great entry to Shining Force. Really loved a lot of the characters. Really, like, honestly, from D tier and up, really liked all these guys. Even like the D tier ones, like I said, these two kind of expand the world a little bit. Feels like a great entry in my favorite franchise. So, I'm very happy with it. I think that concludes our time with SFCD, though. Thank you all so much for tuning into it. I'll rank all the games when I get done. And we'll talk about it more. And maybe in the future we'll do an Iron Man run, which is going to look bonkers. I don't know how we're going to handle that. If characters that die in book 1, you know, won't get used in 2 or 3 or 4. That sounds like such an insane gauntlet. Maybe we need a reset. I've seen people do Fire Emblem Ultimate Gauntlets. I know Mangs is doing one right now, going from the first game to the last game, trying to permadeath all of it, and if he game overs, he goes back to the first game. I think his rule for Fire Emblem 1 and 3 is that if somebody dies in 1, we still get to use them in 3. And I kind of am leaning towards doing that with the different books, because they were originally different games. Sort of, anyway. Obviously 3 and 4 are unique to this, but that's kind of my feeling. I don't know, something I'm kicking around in my head. It'll be a while before I do attempt something like that, but tough. Everyone always talks about what superpower they'd love to have. I'd love to have egress and just go home whenever I want. It would help with traveling, that if I could get, you know, on the other side of the globe and then just poof back home, would be nice. I do like teleportation as a power, because I get motion sick, so really helps. Good night, Justin. Thank you so much for hanging out. As for the rest of us, I think it is finally officially late block time. To play us out, I will shift to... Taya really wanted me to do... Oh, I have a message. Hold it. Okay. I will keep that in mind, Bowie. I maybe can help with that. We'll see. Taya wanted me to play us out on the music from Shining Wisdom. So, if you want to hear something really weird... Oh no, that's not the right one. Where's the one Taya sent? Here it is. Yeah, if y'all want to see how weird Shining Wisdom gets.
Never forget that even in ironclad laws of physics, clever and strange traps can be found. Anyway, the brain must first be stimulated. Don't expect the answers to come immediately. in order to read what lies behind that. There is nothing wrong with reading.
Alright, I'm gonna move us over. Very, very weird.
Lie too much on
I tried to watch the VOD for this Thorn game, but I just couldn't do it with that game. I'll be sticking around for the live, though. I got some help. A little bit. So. Yeah, I really like that. Anyway, the brain must first be stimulated. Let me grab the link to Late Block. So here it is. Feel free to follow it on your own. I'm going to try, like I said, to raid into it the way that Twitch does. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to try. So, thank you all so much for being part of Shining Force CD, and I will see you next week for Resurrection of the Dark Dragon. But see you now for Thorn of Worldia and the Late Block.
the best. Listen to this music. Calm yourself and listen. Listen not with your ears, but with your mind.
I'm trying. Let me see. It is this.
Cosmic Discord.
This.
Regular time. Polyrhythm. Flashing keyboard solo. Wildly distorted guitar.
Alright.
Uninterrupted flow of melody. Now it's
Alright.
time to go.
Are we still live is the question.